it starts streaming and there's always a lag. Right, it says it's going here. Good evening, I'm Matt. And welcome to tonight's live episode. I'm just getting myself sorted out, Mo. We've got a HobbyKing Raven DLG for us to take a look at in a minute. And I do have a weapon of mass destruction for us to get into the box in a few moments' time. Now, with that said, I'm Matt. Welcome aboard to this live episode. You will be able to see down the left-hand side or your right-hand side of the screen, the live chat which is going along. If you have any questions or comments as we go along, do remember you can join in. You can do that in the live version on the right-hand side of your screen. Oh yeah. And you have to, excuse me, I'm out of breath. I've just pegged it in there and got the missus to turn a movie off on the TV because we were getting bandwidth issues. Anyway, getting on to the point. If you're using an iPad or a phone, the live chat is in the bottom right hand corner. You have to click on live chat in the bottom right hand corner and then it pops up and then you can join in. And of course, if you're watching the recorded version, any questions or comments underneath or over in the Facebook group. So, with that said, happy days. Phil says, evening Matt, you're up late, not in your jammies yet then. Yeah, those of you which know me well will know that I'm very much a morning person and this is quite late for me. But I've been out for a meal tonight and I've just eaten 2 Magnum ice creams and I'm a little bit sugared to say the least. I'm sure I'll fall off a cliff very shortly. So I assume the audio is good. Good evening to everybody who is on, and you can see that down the left-hand side of the screen, right-hand side of the screen. Now, a little bit of housekeeping. Just for absolute clarity, this model was bought out of my own money for my own abuses. It was not a freebie for review. As such, you sometimes get some very raw opinions. And also, let's be fair here, we've not come across a really bad model in a long time, although we've had one or two to say the least. Now, a little quick update from the last live episode, which was only 2 days ago. I've actually got back into. I've forced myself to take a break. I was reaching burnout a couple of days ago, and I said I was going to take a day off, and I ended up working all the entire day instead. Anyway, I've been pretty good, and I've been working hard as what I've been normally doing, but then taking a break, and a break for me is not actually being at the desk, it's being at a different desk and playing with some foam. So the Super Kinetic is up and ready. I have modded this one. The mildly obvious one is that I've put some tape along the leading edge. And the one which you haven't seen or probably can't see. Now, we do have a top camera, and if we take a look just here, you will see that I've had the soldering iron out, and I've been and moved the, the control horn, and do that right onto the bottom one, so we go for maximum rudderage on there. Now, my impressions now is the only thing which I can pick fault with this model so far, and I obviously haven't flown it yet, is this back tail section is really quite wiggly. And I'm not very happy about that, so I think I will be running some carbon fibre strip down both sides. It is a bit, I don't know how well you can see that on the main camera, but I can assure you here it is moving an awful lot. So, Super Kinetic, it'll get flown on Sunday, all things going well. Now, the next one is that those of you in the Facebook group, I've been and posted 2 videos in there today. Like I said, I've had quite a bit of time at the desk today, and I did work on the Mini Skywalker, and I did try something, and it works out really well. And both those videos are in the Facebook group. There's a link to that in the video description. Now, Lauren did pop on a few minutes ago and left a comment on one of the videos going, "Oh, is it going to be yellow like Colin's budgie?" I've got 2 girls. One of them came out and said, "Oh, that was a cute one. You're gonna paint it?" I said, "Yeah." And I got down the tray of spray paints. Anybody want to guess what colour it ended up being? It is 2 colours, which perhaps should never be seen. I don't know if you remember that rhyme from school. But if anybody would like to guess on the colour, you can do that in the live chat as we go along. You can just bash that in on there. Peter Proctor says, "I've just bought one of those." Yeah, Peter, remember, sellotape along the leading edge. And another little tip for you, Peter, is that screw hole. Well, anybody's taking a guess on the colour. The screw hole for here, it says just push the wings down and then twist. That's not the case at all. You'll need to get the screwdriver out and slacken off that little top black bit so you can get the lid out and get that to work. Brilliant. Oh, someone's got it! Very close! Very close! Yes, as anyway, you can see the chat before I see it, hence that's why I'm looking down there. Yes. You ready for this? If you've got sunglasses, I strongly suggest that you put them on your noggin about now, because you're going to need them. So, I'll just let it loose, to be honest. If we stick this one in a treat, we are definitely going to see it. Of course, we've got the obligatory paint run marks on it as well. And we were going for a bit of a camo. Daddy had a can of red. My daughter, one of my daughters, had a can of pink. Hence, why everything ended up being pretty much pink. So we are almost there on this model. We really are. I do need to put some sellotape along the bottom to keep her bottom clean. Besides that, we are all set up to go besides the FPV pod to go on the nose. And what I've been and done is underneath in the nose is that I have wired up a little JST connector down there so that I've got battery pack voltage available to me to put anything I want on there. So yeah, we'll see. I haven't been in the FPV box yet, but that's as far as I've got. But anyway, she is now almost flight worthy. Receiver set up, motor set up, done the mods on the back, and she has been painted. But she does need a bit of sellotape along the bottom and along the leading edges as well. So yes. My pink little Skywalker. Peter, that is, yeah. You've been and seen ET's coming on there. Yes, it is pink with splashes of vomit. Or spew has been going on with that one. So yeah. Me, Skywalker. I have enjoyed building that one. It's been a bit of a faff. If you've not seen the videos yet, then you either wait for them to come out or in a shameless plug for the Facebook group. There's a link to the Rag the Nuts or Facebook group in the video description. And I've already been and posted those two videos there already, and we won't post them out live on YouTube until tomorrow at the earliest. So I have, excuse me, like I said, I've been out for food this evening. Anyway, we will get those out now. Not to procrastinate too much. And we'll have a quick look. Steve reckons it looks like an Easter egg. Yes, it's a bit on the wild side. Now, in this box should be a HobbyKing Raven. I think, what's it, 960, 990mm wingspan. And it's a DLG. Now, those of you which don't know what a DLG is, and believe it or not, some people might not know this, it's called a Discus launch glider. The short version is that you're a tosser. And I mean that in the nicest way possible, because you grab it by the wingtip and you spin around in a circle and chuck it in the sky. It's an unpowered model. And I really enjoyed my other one. I've got one down there which I bought off Alex for, I think it was 45 quid or something. Anyway, it's over there, and it's very similar to this one. It's very fragile, and of course it didn't last me very long, to say the least. And I also bought one very similar to that from Banggood, and it turned up, and I don't know how they managed it, but they managed to snap the carbon fibre fuselage, basically rendering it completely useless, because there's no simple way of repairing that. And Banggood, to be fair to them, the full refund, because I wasn't putting up with that. It basically rendered the model useless because complete incompetent packaging, which I hope they've been resolved. Anyway, point being is that I was quite upset, and HobbyKing released the Raven last year at some point in time, and it looked like a really nice model. I know Andrew B bought one, and it was a really, really nice model, but I refused to buy one until it came on sale, and it literally came on sale a couple of days ago, and I was sat there thinking, I've been working my boobies off, and I deserve some new foam and some new models, hence that's why we got a Mini Skywalker and a Super Kinetic turn up. And I saw this one. I think the actual post in the Facebook group is that there was a screenshot of it and I just think I just wrote bastards at the top because it was like worst timing for me. Anyway. Yes, we will get there on into the box, and we're getting it right. We do have some instructions. We will probably never read those, and do need to go slightly careful. We do have a few other bits in there, so anyway, let's get those out of the way. Discus launch glider, yeah, really good fun. If you've not had the chance to fly a DLG, is that if you see one of your flying buddies and see if they've got one, do take the opportunity. Oh, that's spring loaded. Do take the opportunity to have a go. It is really, really good fun, especially when you get it right. My biggest tip for you is, of course, go mental on the launch. Why not? Just try and hold your balance when you let go of it. Yeah, they are good fun. They are good fun. And by the way, they're not a good beginner's model, and they're not a good second model, and I wouldn't say they're a very good third model, to be brutally honest, unless you really have got some experience up, because they are really flimsy models, just by their nature. They're discus launch, so you're flying them by hand power, if that makes sense, rather than being any motors on them or anything like that. By the way, I'm not saying that you couldn't put a motor on the front of it, but that's not the point of a DLG. The point of a DLG is that you spin around in a circle like a plonker and lob it in the sky and then get 30 seconds of fun. So that's the basic summary. Now, you've probably seen above me, me just unpackaging those. A nice, good box, I would like to say. Really well packed. Didn't turn up snapped in half. So Matt's already very happy about this, to say the least. So Van Go, good evening as well. Steve said, how many motors are you going to put on it, Matt? No, I've actually just put this. I just want it as a DLG, to be honest. That's what I want. Now, they've been to put some cotton on here, and I really desperately should read some instructions. I am sure of that. So we will only put it together very roughly, so you get an idea of the actual model itself. And this should be pretty straightforward. And I am looking for the thumb grip, which there's normally a little bar which goes in the end. These things they're super easy to put together. I'm saying super easy is that there is a string here which you need to tie up onto the servo, which then gives the tension on the elevator. I don't know if you can see this back here. So there's the elevator. I'll put this up on the top camera. So there's the elevator, and you'll see that it's sprung loaded. Okay, so I assume it goes that way around, sprung that way, and that's what keeps the model. Well, that's how you don't have like two going down or a push rod going down, which would bend over a long distance, and you don't have to put excess weight in the tail of the model. And it's a very simple, yet crude, yet effective way of getting a movable surface out on the end. Now I am just going a little bit gingerly with this because it's only just turned up, and I know I've already lost one of these end pieces already, so I'm being a bit careful with it. It does have ailerons, or it better have bloody ailerons. Yes, it does have ailerons, or the other words which I just called it. And let's see if we can get this up in there a second. That one goes in there. That one goes in there. Very simple. And like I said, I'm just going to put this together roughly, and I'll spend some more time later doing this. And it's as simple as that. It's just two screws, and you have to sort out the wire. That's why I need to go and read the instructions properly in a minute. And probably a screw or something for the tail part as well. And it won't weigh a lot. This thing is very featherweight. The only thing, it's a plug and fly kit, which basically means it's missing a receiver, and does require some minor setup. In fact, we were laughing the other day. We're working on a price tracking or price comparison site for RC products at the moment. Well, I'll do a launch of it sometime in the future once I've got at least the models category sorted out really well. And anyway, the missus has been helping me with the categorization of it. we have had, and H has picked up on this quite a lot, is that an ARF kit, almost ready to fly kit, but it was almost missing a motor, an ESC receiver, and servos. So I don't think it really, ARF is such a loser term when in reality it's just a kit rather than an ARF. So ARF actually means kit because it's missing everything else which you need. So there is some fun terminology going on, kicking on around in the RC category. Anyway, come back onto the topic. Someone just said, is there carbon? and car mostly fun. Right, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was looking at the model. I have had my eyes on a Radjet again, even though that I know that they're really noisy little models and one-trick pony, which is that they only just fly fast and scream their little nuts off. And I have had 3 of them, I think now. But Matt's on refusing to buy one until he sees them up for 28 quid. Because the last time I saw them on sale before the last 2 times was that they were on for 28 quid, including a motor. So Matt's holding out for a super duper sale from HobbyKing later on. Anyway, it is a carbon fuse. It's a rolled tube, which they've got on there. And again, that's the bit which was cracked. It must have been snapped in the postal service for the other one, which I bought from Banggood. Now, this one came from HobbyKing. Really nice, tough box. Not the box which the other one came on was not a patch on that one. So, yeah, that aside, really straightforward setup. All I need in the nose is a receiver and then a 1S or a 2S battery pack. CG should be really, really simple to hit. The only bad thing which I can say about this style of DLG model, because this will be the second one which I've had, and thankfully with the third one which is broken over there, I now have spares, is that these black covers, these plastic covers which go on the top, number one, you can't get spares of them. Number two, nobody's been and created a 3D printable version from Thingiverse. And number three, they're really fragile. The first thing to break on this model is not going to be the dead tree balsa fins or anything like that. It will be the plastic on the nose, because that's the bit which is likely to get hit. That's why I'm saying this model is definitely not a good first model, second, third, even fourth model would be pushing it. You would definitely want some good stick skills. One little thing to note as well is that they wouldn't be too bad on a slope. Now, I'm not talking a 43 mile an hour day on a slope. A low wind day, one of those days where you're a bit 50-50 on what you're going to take with you because you don't think there's going to be enough lift, so you slip in a couple of powered models. Something like this, which literally just weighs grams, would be... And by the way, can you just see that? That's almost balancing, or it was almost balancing then. Not far off what I would say is the CG. So yeah, very little weight to go in the nose. Anyway, coming back to my point with the slopes or anything, something like this, chuck it off a slope in a light wind day, it would be absolutely brilliant fun. So I do intend taking this one up to a slope with me at some point. Now, as far as things go, like to build it, it will be sort of like that servo, which I need to go and read their instructions. And I don't know how well you can see it up there on the main thing, but super clear instructions, and yeah, just some tips on there and things. As far as bits to stick in, there's 2 little brass bits which I've got no idea what they're for. There's a wooden tray which sits in there, and then there's this little peg. Well, I'll get this open, and I know exactly which side it will go in, and the peg's absolutely key because that's how you get this thing launched. Let me get in this bloody bag. I'll get in there. Oh, actually, can I just share a little tip with you? My daughter taught me this one. These little bags are absolute toe rags to get open. If you push them like that, if you slide them, instead of trying to go in there and try and get in the top and try and get it open like that, put a thumb either side and slip on them, and they pop open. My daughter taught me that. Smart little bunny. Anyway, which way are we putting this one? This way around. Now, I have a terribly bad habit. I will launch all of my models with my right hand, and I'm right-handed as well. So, like I said, it's a bad habit, I must admit, and I do that I even do that with the DLGs as well. So the only thing, like I said, you really got to put in here is that, and that will need a bit of, maybe, to be honest, probably needs The nature of that, a little dab of epoxy. And all you do is you get your 2 fingers, so you show that up on there on the camera. You get your 2 fingers around like that. Obviously, you've been to set it up. And then you just spin around in a circle and lob it in the sky. Now, there are some mixes which you can do in your transmitter, such as perhaps putting some down and then some, if I'm just chucking it up like that and it goes up, put some right trim in it so that the model goes up straighter. Because imagine if I'm chucking it up, I'm going to chuck it up on a skew, whereas it would be more efficient if it went up straight. So I know Dave with his DLG, he's got a switch which he hits, chucks it in the sky and then clicks the switch back because it would put trim in there to level the model back out again. And then, of course, then you can get the model up higher and happy days. So, yeah, very, very simple kit. It is a fragile model. It did cost me the best part of, I can't remember, I'm going to say 80 quid. Could have been more, could have been less, can't remember. Didn't really care because it was on sale, and I knew that I'd wanted one for quite a period of time. It does look really straightforward to set up. I've just realised that bit of plywood on there is required. Fix the elevator with the board, so that is required in the tail there somehow for that to stick on the back. So hey ho. Right, with that said, let me move across to your questions. We will be wrapping up in a few moments' time. This live episode is going to be a shorter one than normal, mainly because there's not really much to talk about as far as the wing, because as you can see, there's very little for us to do with it. So we will have the maiden of this one very shortly. We do also have the maiden of the Super Kinetic and the Mini Skywalker planned in for Sunday. So do look out either for some live footage from the flight line or some recorded footage either from the hand camera, Sony camera, or from a hat camera as well. Right, with that said, quickly just looking at your chat on there. Ailerons are not desirable on a lightweight floating model like this. Now, car fun mostly is that actually the other DLG which I started with, it only had rudder, and frankly, I missed the ailerons. I really did miss the ailerons, and that's just like a personal thing for me. It was very enjoyable. It was quite manoeuvrable, but frankly, I missed being able to truly Richard around in the sky. I was trying to choose my words carefully there. To really muck around in the sky, and I felt that not having ailerons for me was a limitation. Because I wanted to have as much fun as I could in that 30 seconds that it was in the sky. So yeah, you're absolutely right. On a model like this, it would obviously be better not to have 2 extra servos, which would be, say they're 9 grams each. They would be, I don't think that, well, say they're 8 grams each. They're 16 grams plus the bits on top, and every gram really does count for in a DLG like this. But to be honest, I would take the few seconds hit of the flying time for some extra manoeuvrability, because that just equals more fun for me as a pilot. I hope that makes sense. Yes, Steve, that's an ARB, not an ARF. I dare you to do it. Look on HobbyKing, look on Banggood, the same on GearBest as well. You'll see these models labelled as being as an ARF, and it basically means kit. Nightmare. Anyway, so it was a bit of fun. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, absolutely. It's all about that, and again, you can see the chat before I've been and got to it. It's all about keeping the weight down. 1S battery, 1500 minutes, 40 minutes of flinging, and that's it. You unlike we used the mini drac as an example. Those of you who saw the video a couple of days ago, and if you were bored with a bit of me just chatting at the desk, just like skip like halfway in, and we take it to the flight line and we absolute cane its nuts off. And a model like that, it is a 5200 4S pack, and it's like 10 minutes of full out fast flying, and it's a great big huge battery pack. Whereas a model like this, like Car Fun mostly was saying just a few moments ago, it's just a little tiny 1S battery pack in the nose, and that's it. And you can, like he says, you can go and have half an hour, 40 minutes worth of fun, tossing yourself off in a field. Brilliant. And you can take your mates as well. And the family. Anyway. Let's have a quick look at, again, keep an eye on your chat as well. Steve says, I think you've probably hit the nail on the head. It's basically a lawn dart with RC control, yeah. And when you break the front bit, that's it. It's just, I really do wish someone would make decent quality replacement nose cones for that, even if you could buy them separately. I don't think HobbyKing sells them. I couldn't find them when I broke the other one. And there wasn't anything on Thingiverse at the time, so yeah, bit frustrating on that side. Let's have a quick look. Sean says, Matt, have you ever tried an Ishin Fury wing with a detachable carbon fuse? I'd love to see a review on one. And of course, you've probably already seen that in the chat. Now, the thing with the Ishin Fury, if you haven't already seen it, basically it's like the mini race wing which came out a while ago, and I think I really did piss the guys off on the mini race wing. There was 2 developers, and one of them got really shitty in the Facebook group and left. And that is what happened, because we took a screenshot of it at the time. Anyway, I understand, and I think it's a very good idea. And the idea is very simply, I'll use this one as a reference, is that you have 2 either EPP or EPO foam wings, and then in the fuselage area, you actually have a quadcopter. There's one kicking around down here somewhere. Here we go. You have a quadcopter centre fuse section in the middle. And I think it's a really, really good idea. But the thing is that I frankly don't want that thing flying anywhere near me. And I put my foot down a while ago and said, I'm not ever going to own a model which has a carbon fibre fuselage. And the reason being is something like this, obviously, it would hurt if you hit you in the side of the head. If you have something with a carbon fibre fuse in the centre, that would really hurt. And I've stayed away from them. So, Sean, it's a really good question, but unfortunately we won't have the Ishin Fury, and there's a couple of others kicking around as well. Mini Race Wing, and there's another one as well. You won't see them because, remember, I buy all these models out of my own money, and that's not a model or style of model. It sounds surprising because they're probably fantastic wings. Let's not knock them too much. They're just not for me. Okay, so Sean, I hope that makes sense. Let's have a quick look. E.T., I think you're onto a really good idea with that one. Do it as a bungee. I think that would be fantastic. Maybe even towing it up on the back of a mate's plane as well. That would be good fun. I quite fancy that one too. Let's have a quick look. Oh yeah, and you do also hurt your shoulder and your arm. Yeah. The other reason, and I'm just being completely honest with you, the other reason why I quite fancy the DLG is somebody's got quite well rounded over the last couple of months, and I could frankly do a bit of an exercise and spinning around in circles and having some fun with an RC model and getting some exercise at the same time can't be a bad thing for the old central heating, which I've been put down on there. Kevin says £100 and 2 pence at the moment. Yes, you can now understand why I put my foot down and waited for them to go on sale. They've been on sale once, so I'm sure they'll go on sale at some point in the future. Let's have a quick look. Mark says DLG 3D, or is it just relaxed fly? It's neither of those two things, because it's about 30 seconds of complete mayhem, and then you go back and get it, and then you chuck it again, then you get another 30 seconds of mayhem, and then it's just rinse and repeat until you've given up, or you've hurt your arm, or you've broken it. That's the basic summary of DLG. Quickly looking at your chat on there. Yes, Elijah, you've been and made it. Welcome aboard, sir. I saw you missed the other one. So on there. I saw a quad. Yes, don't worry, Steve. It doesn't have anything really in it at all. And that is the Ishin Falcon, which got an absolute slate in a short while ago. It was only a 2-minute video, so it was really in depth as well. We won't even go on that one. So Sean, yeah, no worries on helping you out on that one. Oh geez, again looking at car fun mostly on there. Again, you've been seeing the chat which is going along here. The earliest iteration of this model had even weaker nose pod. I don't think it's possible you could make this nose pod any weaker, to be bluntly honest. It is. I know with the other one I lost the lid in a field, and we never saw it again. Of course, the cows have been in there since, so that's the end of that. But I'll put that up on the top camera so you can see. It is very thin plastic. There's no strength in that. No real strength in it, should I say. It's adequate for its purpose. The frustrating part is that there's no spares. That is the pain in the rear when it comes to them. So yeah, if anybody's bored in work and is good at freestyling, creating 3D models, please do knock yourself out and make a 3D model of these, because there is literally nothing out there for a model like this. Anyway, E.T. said, pies, Matt, winter weakness. No, actually it's been fried breakfasts. I have a real weakness for fried breakfasts at the moment, because if you think I'm getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, my lunchtime is everybody else's breakfast. So that has been my little Achilles. Well, I'm not going to say it's an Achilles heel. It's something else. So, hey-ho. Right. Brilliant. Thank you, Andrew B. Same to you as well. You've been seeing that in the chat down the left-hand side. Right, it is time for me to wrap up. Let me just quickly recap what we've been uncovered here. We saw, and Andy, I don't think you saw this. You know, what's his face's budgie. I've got my pink and spew, as the case may be. This is the my version of the Mini Skywalker. Me and Abby, my eldest daughter, we painted it earlier, and she had the can of pink, so we've ended up with a very, very pink model. It does feel a little bit heavier than what I was expecting. I do have not that much in there, to be honest, but it does feel a little bit heavier than what I was expecting, but I'm sure it'll fly fine, and Colin's one is doomed, to say the least. Right. Lightness, that's all it's about. Yeah, I will be using an 18650 battery pack in there, so it will last a while. We also saw the Wingnetic, not the Wingnetic, Kinetic. Let's not talk about the other one. There's a bit of a banned word here in a moment. The Kinetic, kind of like it, but that back tail section does feel rather flimsy. Then we spoke about, and we had the unboxing of the Raven. That had been here for a day or two. Yeah, as we saw, very, very little setup required. Probably a little bit of glue on there, bit of epoxy down on the end, and really nice straightforward instructions. They are really good, I hope. As you can see up there on the camera, nice and straightforward, to say the least. Oh, to give you a heads up as well, the new Bonsai has been released, and I have one on the way to me. I bought it a couple of days ago, but Matt only... the reason why I bought it, because HobbyKing have now started doing free shipping. So I've bought one, but we are now on an Easter bank holiday. So tomorrow is bank holiday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, Easter, we got Easter Monday. So it's not due to be delivered until next Tuesday. And then we'll take a look at that together. There is some very curiosity. There are some curiosities with that, because the guys at HobbyKing, they were absolutely chucking theirs around. When I saw a video from Painless 360, and Lee was chucking his around very civilized. And I don't know whether that's Lee's because more used to flying quads and chucking those around compared to maybe a wing and just full throttle and waiting for it to fall out the sky kind of job. So that does has raised a question mark around that one. And also, I'm very curious on that rear motor mount as well. Have they put extra carbon underneath it so that it doesn't snap off and fall off in your hand, which was the issue which you could have with the original Bonsai, or even the Taximo to a degree as well. So that is very much a curiosity too, and then we'll see what they've been and done with the servo placement as well, because I still have my very original, my original, the first Bonsai which I owned, up there on the wall. It's my only wall hanger which I own, and because I've had so many flights with that one, so she is sat up there at the moment. And we've had a bit of a chit chat as well. Your comments and questions have been coming in. I've done my best to reply to them as best I could. Do remember, if you are watching the recorded version, if you've got any questions about the Raven or anything else which we've been covered here this evening, don't forget you can either ask in the comments section underneath this video or pop across to the Facebook group and then ask away in there as well. Right, I've caught that one halfway through on there. And so we have a budgie and a My Little Pony. Thank you, Andy. On that note, it is time for me to go. So I would like to say a massive thank you to you for taking the time to watch this live episode. Tomorrow night, do look out for the 1, maybe 2 episodes on the Mini Skywalker, because I had a bit of fun with a blowtorch in it. And it did actually work out alright. Sorry to be a bit of a spoiler on that one, but I was very impressed with myself earlier, and it did work a treat. So, with that said, I'm going over to the computer to hit the stop button. From myself, Matt, thank you. I'll see you again shortly. Cheerios!